نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and welcome to our penultimate lesson. I hope you have progressed well over the last few months. We're now reaching the end of the text, and there's less discussion required here because the concepts are pretty simple to understand. So we will have today's session inshallah and next week's session, and then we will part company, but I'm sure our paths will cross again inshallah ta'ala in the future. وَفِي دُعَاءِ الْأَحْيَاءِ وَصَدَقَاتِهِمْ مَنْفَعَةٌ لِلْأَمْوَاتِ. So this is what we call isale thawab. As for the dua of the living and their giving in charity, then that is a benefit for the deceased. Okay, that is a benefit for the deceased. And I've discussed this at length, this concept of isale thawab, of losing a loved one. So search that video and you'll see the explanation in there inshallah. Wallahu ta'ala yastajibu da'wat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who answers these supplications, the du'as. وَبِقْذِي الْحَاجَات, and He is the one who وَيَقْضِي, sorry, probably my eyes are going, I'm no longer seeing dots now. Or I'm seeing dots when I should be seeing dots, and I'm not seeing dots when I should be seeing them. Do not say the same thing twice. وَيَقْضِي الْحَاجَة, and He is the one who fulfills the needs. وَيَمْلِكُ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ, and He has possession over everything. وَلَا يَمْلِكُهُ شَيْءٍ, and nothing possesses Him. وَلَا غِنَى عَنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى طَرَفَةً عَيْنٍ, no one is independent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even the blink of an eye. وَمَنِ اسْتَغْنَى عَنِ اللَّهِ طَرَفَةَ عَيْنٍ فَقَدْ كَفَرَ, that person who actually believes that he is independent from Allah even for the blink of an eye, that meaning such a short time, then he has become a kafir. وَصَارَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْحَيْنِ, and such a person becomes of those whose end will be in destruction. وَاللَّهُ تَعَالَى يَغْضَبُ وَيَرْضَى لَا كَأَحَدٍ مِنَ الْوَرَى, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be angry, wrathful, and similarly He can be pleased and happy, but not like any humans. And if you recall, we touched upon this the last time round. Loving the companions of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is something which we should have in the firm root of our hearts. Without our companions, we would have no deen. وَنُحِبُّ أَصْحَابَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم وَلَا نُفْرِطُ فِي حُبِّ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ وَلَا نَتَبَرَّأُ مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ وَنُبْغِضُ أَنْ مَنْ يُبْغِضُهُمْ وَبِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ يَذْكُرُهُمْ وَلَا نَذْكُرُهُمْ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ وَحُبُّهُمْ دِينٌ وَإِيمَانٌ وَإِحْسَانٌ وَبُغْضُهُمْ كُفْرٌ وَنِفَاقٌ وَطُغْيَانٌ. And it's important that we fully and properly respect our companions, or when I say our companions, obviously I'm referring to the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because from them is the deen. And we hear certain parties and groups who defame, speak ill of, abuse the companions, and that's something, and then they claim to be believers or Muslims. We cannot accept that. Why? We love the نُحِبُّ أَصْحَابَ رَسُولِ, we love the companions of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَا نُفْرِطُ فِي حُبِّ أَحَدٍ, we do not go to extremes obviously in loving any one of them. We don't pick one companion and put him above all the others, way above all the others, and at the same time deny the rights of the others. We understand that there is a gradation amongst the companions, which the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is either openly indicated or openly stated or indicated towards, and as a result we will extol the virtues of them more so, but not at the cost or expense of the other companions. So we recognize the status of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, we recognize the status of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, we recognize the status of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, and we recognize the status of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. We recognize the status of the Ashara Mubashara. We also recognize the status of those companions who were fuqaha. And so we know, and those who became muhaddithun, or they initiated the whole concept of hadith studies. So we recognize them and we respect them, but not at the expense of any of the others, and not in such a way that they become, we have extreme in our love for them. We've got to avoid extremism in all areas. وَنَتَبَرَّأُ مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ, and we do not dissociate ourselves from any one of them. Just because a companion is not known, we don't say, oh, well, he's not something we will spend our time. No, as soon as we find out that this particular individual was a companion, we respect him for what he or she was. وَنُبْغِضُ مَن يُبْغِضُهُم, and we detest and hate whomsoever detests and hates them. وَبِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ يَذْكُرُهُم, and they speak about them untruthfully. وَلَا نَذْكُرُهُم إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ, we do not mention them except with goodness, in a good way. وَحُبُّهُمْ دِينٌ, loving them is our religion. Excuse me. وَحُبُّهُمْ دِينٌ, loving them is our deen, our iman, our faith, and our ihsan, our good character. وَبُغْضُهُمْ كُفْرٌ, and to hate them, to detest them, is kufr, and it is nifaq, and it is tughyan, transgression. Nifaq, obviously, hypocrisy. The order of the caliphate is something we also look, and I've just touched upon that now when I mentioned to you the rank of the four companions, in particular the Al-Khulafa Ar-Rashidun. وَنُثْبِتُ الْخِلَافَةَ بَعْدَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ, and we establish and affirm the khilafat, the caliphate, after the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, first to Abu Bakr and Siddiq radiallahu anhu, tafdeelan lahu, because of his excellence, wa taqdeeman, and his priority, ala jami' al-ummah, over the whole ummah. ثم لعمر ibn Khattab, then followed by Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. ثم لعثمان, then to Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, and then finally to Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. وَهُمُ الْخُلَفَاءُ الرَّاشِدُونَ, they are what are referred to as the rightly guided or the upright caliphs. وَالْأَئِمَّةُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ, and they are the rightly guided leaders. And finally for today, the 10 that I mentioned to you, the Ashara Mubashara, which I will mention to you now. وَإِنَّ الْعَشَرَ الَّذِينَ سَمَّاهُمْ, there are 10 companions which the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned them by name. وَبَشَّرَهُمْ بِالْجَنَّةِ, and he gave them the glad tidings of Jannah. نَشْهَدُ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ, like he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, we also bear witness for them Jannah. أَلَا مَا شَهِدَ لَهُمْ, like the way the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave witness for their Jannah. وَقَوْلُهُ الْحَقِّ, and his statement is the truth. وَهُمْ, and they are Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Umar radiallahu anhu, Uthman radiallahu anhu, Ali radiallahu anhu, Talha radiallahu anhu, Zubair radiallahu anhu, Sa'ad radiallahu anhu, Sa'id radiallahu anhu, Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu, wa huwa aminu hazal ummah, he is the Amin, yani the trustee of this nation, radiallahu anhum ajma'een. There are the 10. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنَ الْقَوْلَ فِي أَصْحَابِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ وَأَزْوَاجِهِ وَذُرِّيَّاتِهِ فَقَدْ بَرِئَ مِنَ النِّفَاقِ, those who speak well of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his wives and his children, then that person has freed himself from hypocrisy. And those who don't speak well of the wives of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or his companions, or his children, then that's a sure sign of nifaq, which is hypocrisy, which shows that that person does not have iman in their hearts. So on that point, we will break, inshallah, and I hope to see you again next week for our final session on Aqida Al-Tahawiyya. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.